Greetings, thank you for joining me today. TV licence fees. Let's talk about that. Yeah, I'm circling back to it. It's a customer service issue, which is why I'm talking about it. I'm aware there are other channels out there, great channels that are well worth a visit, who talk about things in more detail. Obviously, by all means, if you want more information, go and have a look at those guys because they know more. They approach this better than I will. Hats off. However, a couple of weeks ago, a letter came through the door and my son brought it up to me, and it irritated me. I was in the middle of doing my job, taking calls and so on, taking calls, taking names. I won't bore you with what I do. But I saw this. I didn't let it get to me. I didn't let it get to affect the people I was dealing with that day. I sat in it, but lunchtime comes around, I was fuming, sat down with it to properly fume at it. Letter from the TV licensing. Now, it used to be BBC TV licensing. They raise funds, if you're not familiar with, if you live outside the UK, TV licensing raise funds by encouraging people to have a TV license for watching live TV. And how that's defined is it live? Is it streamed live? So the likes of live transmissions of BBC TV, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, and the satellite services, things you might watch on a regular terrestrial telly or digital telly, your satellite telly, your cable telly, all this sort of thing will be covered by that live TV definition. Where it falls short of that definition is things like live transmissions of individual YouTubers. That's not a TV show, that's not a TV station, that's just a channel on YouTube. It's not the same. So if you ever catch me doing a live transmission, by all means tune in, but you won't need a licence fee to do that. I ain't going to tell you if you did anyway, but they run campaigns. So in the old days, they used to send around an empty van, empty vans marked up as TV licence detection vans. They were trying to detect people, or pretend they were detecting people watching telly behind closed doors, behind closed curtains. So in the hope that they would scare people into going out and getting a licence. Of course, it's very tricky to prove exactly what someone's doing at a distance behind closed doors. So it was really only ever empty vans, a scam. And they would send round scammy letters and send round guys to come and knock the doors, actually have a look, actually come in and see what's in your house and see if you've got an actual TV. Because if you've got an actual TV that's capable of picking up the telly, they can say you've been watching telly and you should have a licence, which I suppose would be fair, wouldn't it? Now, obviously, if you need a licence, you should get one. If you've been watching live TV and this is the sort of person you are, then I would say morally you should be contributing to that service, because if you want to watch BBC productions, yeah, why shouldn't you contribute to that? Because, he's got to pay for the artists. Now, a lot of us have problems with the sort of people the BBC employ and the way the money is spent. I lost faith in the BBC a long time ago, and just to give you an idea when I lost faith is when they canned Blake 7. Blake 7 sci-fi show. If you're not familiar, go look it up. If you remember that, and you are a fan as well, drop me a note in the comments. I liked that show and they canned it too early, and at that point I started thinking about other ways to entertain myself. Yeah, I was quite young at the time, but decisions start early, don't they? And when I first got my own house, I didn't have a telly, I didn't have a licence, because I was damned if I was going to be watching TV that didn't interest me. It didn't interest me. As simple as that. I know they do a few shows that are really quite good, and I've seen things on DVD, don't get me wrong, but we're the sort of household that likes an efficient device. We don't need a TV, and we haven't had one for decades. That's the way we roll. We have plain simple monitors, and we'll link that up to a DVD player. In fact, we don't even have a DVD player now. The DVDs, we have a selection of them. They're up on the shelf there. I'll probably turn it around. There we go, up on the shelf. And they stay there. They've been up there for some time, yeah. Happy memories when we had a DVD player that worked, but we just saw fit not to replace it. And I used to think, well, I'll use the computer, because we had some drives on the old computers, but they've failed over the years and we just haven't replaced them. Streaming services have taken over because probably they're the best way to go. And I do understand that the DVD degrades over time, so I'm guessing some of these have gone beyond the point of being useful. However, I digress. The TV licensing team, they do campaigns and they send around letters, lots of letters, mostly letters. And I have a problem with that because they could employ more people to go around and knock doors. That would create jobs. That would be something, a tangible something you could see, as well as the TV on the telly, I suppose. But no, they send spammy letters and Lord knows how much money they waste on that. I think if you're going to try and enforce something with me, you better send a person, you know. I'm about job creation, not making life easy. So I would never respond to a letter if I needed a license, you know. I've had visits from TV license inspectors in the past, back when I first had my first house, you know, but back then I had nothing. The guy came in and looked at my empty front room because I'd just literally moved in and there was nothing to show apart from, well, I had carpet. I was very proud of my carpet, but that was about it. Since then, still haven't had a TV because, again, don't need one. But the letter ran. It's a scammy letter and it annoyed me because of the scammy nature of it. A lot of them go on and say, well, you definitely need a license. We're going to come inspect you. We're going to come in with the police, yada, yada. There's a code against your property. All these letters come out. There's various versions of them out there, their campaigns. And anyway, someone's clearly decided that Wolverhampton, my part, Wolverhampton's going to get a bunch of these letters. Important news about your no license needed status. Yes, you can declare that you don't watch live TV, which gets them off your back for a while. Our records show that BBC iPlayer has been used. Now, BBC iPlayer is the app. I think you can have it in. Sometimes it's installed as bloatware on your mobile phone or your smart TV if you buy one. And the idea is you can't get rid of the blessed thing when it's in your device. You know, in there it is taking up space. But it allows you to use your internet to stream the BBC services. Now, it says, yes, we've previously been told a TV licence is not needed at your address. However, our records show that someone has used BBC iPlayer on a number of occasions over recent weeks. No, they haven't. No, they haven't, and we checked all our devices, every single one of them, to make sure that that bloatware wasn't on our system, because no one in the household uses BBC iPlayer. We use other services. We use the likes of Netflix, Amazon, you know, to watch things that aren't live TV. The no license needed status of this address is now invalid and will soon be cancelled, which is a gobbledygook sentence, you know, because really they could say, we've cancelled your no license needed status. That would be it. Nice clean sentence. Please get in touch, people, for the 4th of September. You need a TV licence to be covered for everything on BBC iPlayer. Apparently you don't. Not everything. Not everything. So that's a lie as well. It also covers you for all TV channels and live TV streaming services. Now, then again, that's an issue because when we think of streaming, some of us think of, well, dear old YouTube and streaming a feed over YouTube. Now, that's not a TV station. If you catch me doing a live feed, and you might one day, that's not a TV station. I'm not and you know, I'm not making money about this. I'm just doing things for fun. And the same can be said of a lot of YouTubers. You know, there's if you get monetized, you'll feast on ramen, but you have to go a long way and get a lot of subscribers in order to really start raking it in, and even then. So it creates the impression that even if you're streaming on YouTube, that maybe you need a license, which you don't. But it's implied by being non-specific. They're trying to scare more people. If this hits someone who just doesn't know, someone who doesn't take the time to find out, someone who doesn't check out YouTube, they could well be encouraged to buy a license they don't need. But if all they ever do is watch Mac customer service and a choice of other YouTubers, they're not going to need a TV license. So to keep on using iPlayer, buy license. Well, okay, if I was using iPlayer, if I was watching the live streaming services, yeah, okay. But I don't, and we haven't. And we checked all our devices, and no, we hadn't used iPlayer. By the way, you can also get, if you were that way inclined, you can also get service to tag on to your internet provider, you know, to monitor what goes on your network, to make sure no one uses your internet service to stream things that might get you in trouble, like iPlayer. But if you've got a good family, a family that cooperates and works together, you all agree that you don't use iPlayer and you don't watch live TV, then you don't need a license at your address. That's as simple as it. If you don't use it, why should you pay for it? So it encourages you to scan one of those QR codes. If you're ever covered by a TV license or you think a mistake is made, please let us know immediately. Yeah. Again, if their records were actually complete and they would know whether I had or had not purchased a license, they wouldn't be sending these letters. This is a scammy letter. Tells you where to go. It's from Ross McTaggart. Yes. Is that a real person? It's not something you'd admit to being, is it? You wouldn't say who you. If your name's Ross McTaggart, you don't want to say that to someone in the pub. However, and on the back is a whole bunch of garbage as to how you can buy your TV license in various ways and update your status and so on. Now, again, it's a nonsense letter. It's there to scare people. They don't know because nobody has. If they had the evidence, they will present you with a list, because if you use iPlayer, you have to log in order to use iPlayer, so they know who you are, where you are, because they can see, the path of your data. They know what you're watching, when you're watching, and they could bring you a list of what you've done, which would, and say, yeah, you did this, if you did it. So because you did this, you need a license, and you haven't got a license because we can see the records, but they don't have those records. They clearly don't, because otherwise they'd be writing a far more concise letter to the individual stating what exactly they've done. Just saying, someone's used iPlayer at your address in the last couple of weeks. Absolute nonsense. Makes me angry, because there's a lot of people out there who will just buckle and buy the license that they don't need, and it's a big old waste of money, especially in this cost of living crisis. And that's manufactured by people who would sooner put up the prices. Yeah. So just my rant. Like I say, if you've had one of these letters, let me know what you think. Did you go out and buy a license? I have not. But if you did, well, if you need it. Anyway, if you've stuck with me this far, thank you for listening. Whatever you do, have a great day. See you soon. Bye for now.